dual sport world may never have a true unicorn, but on the performance end, the Beta 500 RRS gets pretty close. Over the last few months, I've been blessed to give a little test rip to two Beta 500 dual sports, and my first impression is that they are very, very good. I could tell you that around 260 pounds wet, it feels akin to riding a giant gnat. Yet with the 478cc liquid-cooled motor, that gnat wants to pull your arms out of their sockets. I could tell you that it has nearly 11.5 inches of travel, both front and rear, from new ZF Sax forks, which go from grandma's couch to rattle your bones with a few simple twists. I could tell you that it has quite a tall 6-speed gearbox that, when geared for distance, will maintain 80 smooth miles per hour at the same RPMs as my KTM 1190. Yet, when it's geared down, it will grunt and buck like a bull in a bike shop. I could tell you all of this, but long ago my artsy-fartsy nature riding professor said to show and not tell, so here you go. The first Beta 500 RRS I rode belongs to my good friend Matt, one of the nicest guys I've ever met, and an ex-Special Forces veteran who still works in the, field. Matt agreed to let me ride his stallion and make this video on one condition: that I had to make it look better than his friend Dave's Husqvarna 350 that I made a video of a while ago. And that's a truly tall order, considering that I love the FE350 and it ranks as the most capable dual sport motorcycle according to thousands of your surveys, and I happen to agree. The Beta didn't make the list, but only because there weren't enough respondents with relevant riding experience on the Beta 500, so I wanted to see for myself how it stacked up versus the best on the survey. Well, the stars aligned. Matt brought his Beta for me to ride on the only day southern Utah saw less than 90 degrees in the whole summer. Not only that, but my friend Garrett and his KTM 300XC were ready to rock that morning, and my back wasn't as broken as it had been a few months earlier. It wasn't really long before things got ugly on the Beta, and by things I mean me. My right blinker shining like a beacon of incompetence, I fell and fell and fell some more. I couldn't believe it, but a bike this powerful, this light, this amazing, it should have been handled by somebody without my supreme incompetence on board. So Garrett jumped on it and rocked it. But in my case, there was a reason for all the horror. The gearing was just below orbit of the moon. It dawned on me that Matt had taken this bike on the Arizona backcountry discovery route recently, and he had tuned it for just that purpose. The 500 had been set up for long, high-speed cruises, and not necessarily nasty braps through the gnarly stuff. The suspension was also tuned soft to make the expedition smoother, especially in the front. I found that it would soak up small bumps and rocks like nothing, and road performance was oh so sweet, but any jumps or rocks or larger kicks would boot it right out of control. Like using a Cadillac Fleetwood in a monster truck rally, I was riding a bike that was set up for cruising in a dry riverbed. Fast forward to the latest scenic rally. Spencer and Chad had made their merry way across the country to ride Southwest Utah with me, and as it happened, Spencer brought his Beta 500 and it was set up exactly the opposite way. Same bike, same specs, but this time it was set up for shredding. And shred it did, even on the scenic rally.
I'll see it clearer now.
Funny thing here, with the suspension on Matt's Beta so cushy and the gearing so high, while great on the road, it actually felt a lot heavier than the bike actually was while riding off-road. Now contrast that with Spencer's 500, which felt very light and far more grunty because it was geared so much lower. But there's a payoff. Matt's bike shocked me when I hit 80 miles per hour and was pushing the same revs as my KTM 1190 at the same speed. Not only that, but the ride was pretty smooth, and with some decent wind protection, the Beta 500 would be a fantastic light adventure tourer. Now contrast that with Spencer's 500, geared much lower, which felt like a buzzy mess at anything over about 65. Two bikes, same specs, same components, completely different feels. That's the wonder of this bike. Set up one way, it's a dirt-devouring murderer. Set up another, it's a mild-mannered, mile-gobbling adventure tourer. So, a few things I took away from these few days of riding. First of all, two bikes, even if they're the same, if set up for different riders and different purposes, can feel like completely different motorcycles. Even then, the fact that the road-geared Beta still hung with the absolutely fantastic KTM 300XC, which is an absolute demigod of off-road trail performance, is astounding. It kept up in everything but the deepest of sand, where its soft suspension would nosedive a bit, and that's pretty amazing. With just a few tweaks, the Beta 500 can either be an absolute Spartan off-road with tons of power and low-end grunt, or a highway cruising Cadillac with just the right suspension and gearing. Now that means that whether the gearing is high and the suspension is soft, or the gearing is low and the suspension is made for eating whoops for breakfast, or just somewhere between the two extremes, the Beta 500 makes a very good dual sport with a wide range of capability. And as we saw, even on the extremes, it has the power and the weight to do both very well. So you guys, thank you so much for watching, and thanks so much to Matt, to Spencer, to Garrett, and to Dave again for letting me ride their truly outstanding motorcycles. Which one do I like best? Well, I actually really like the KTM 300XC, even though it's not a dual sport. So, Matt and Dave, you guys are going to have to duke it out and ride each other's bikes to find out the best. So everything you saw in this video was shot right here in Southwest Utah, and if it looks fun at all to you to ride here, then you've got a hookup for a place to stay, a guide, and I will even film your trip. And if that sounds cool, check out the Rallies tab at everrideadv.com, and I'd love to have you come out and ride with me sometime. As always, a huge thanks to my patrons and producers for making all of my videos possible. You guys are the best. I couldn't do it without you. You know that. I say it every video. You are outstanding. Thank you very much. And much love. Everide out.